We found the car, Keisha's car, and we located Everoy Morrison. He has been detained. Unfortunately, Kelsey and Keisha are deceased. I can't go into detail exactly what occurred, but I can tell you that she was not comfortable, and neither were my 3 nieces anymore with him being in the home, in the basement. She said she wanted him out. He said he would leave before the end of the month, but he didn't. He didn't leave. He murdered them. He tried to get my brother to go downstairs in the basement. He kept on saying to my brother, come talk to me in the basement. My brother said, I can't talk to you in the basement. I need to see what's going on. We demand justice for my niece. We demand justice for my sister-in-law.
Just heartbreaking. You know, who does that? You know, I mean, to a family, period, but, you know, to a baby girl who's defenseless. You know, I'm in the military, and so it's heartbreaking to see this. I will never, ever get used to seeing, you know, having to face something like this.
This is the true tale of Keisha Morrison, a 45-year-old mother, and her 9-year-old daughter Kelsey Morrison, who were murdered by her brother-in-law Everoy Morrison, 44. Everoy murdered his brother's wife and niece after they requested him to leave their home. Keisha was concerned because he did strange things around their children. He was instructed to leave, however he chose to murder her and her daughter. Before we begin this video, we would like to express our deepest sympathies to the family and friends who were severely affected by this horrible crime. We would also like to send condolences to Keisha and Kelsey's family and friends. Today's case takes us to Roselle. Roselle is a borough located in Union County in the U.S. state of New Jersey. It has a population of around 22,000 residents. Roselle is a very diverse, warmly welcoming, and supportive community. All the necessities such as supermarkets, schools, and food places are all near and within driving range. Keisha Michelle Morrison was born on April 6, 1978. She is from Moultrie, Georgia, and she owns KMG Tresses, a hair business. She is passionate about selling hair. She was a mother and Gary Morrison's wife. People who knew her described her as quiet. She was never furious. Even when she was upset or heartbroken over something, it was impossible to tell how she was actually feeling. She was also the mother to 9-year-old Kelsey Morrison, who was still in school. Those who knew Kelsey recognized her as an energetic individual with a bright personality. She was just a cheerful child who enjoyed spending time with her family and friends. The Morrisons were a caring family who enjoyed traveling and doing activities together. Gary is characterized as being attentive, loving, and having a huge heart. Gary was devoted to his wife Keisha, Kelsey, and their other older children. They were a blended family, and generosity was in his heart, so he didn't hesitate to let his half-brother Everoy Morrison move in with them. Gary Morrison felt sorry for his brother Everoy Morrison and allowed him to move into his home because he was struggling. The 44-year-old then moved in, and they didn't know how long he would stay at this point, but we assumed it would be until he could financially support himself. Everything was fine when he moved in, everyone was happy, but he stayed with his brother and his family for more than 2 years. Keisha and her elder girls had grown tired of his being in the basement for the past 2 years. They allegedly wanted him to go because he was making approaches towards them. The things he said and the glances he gave the women in the house were inappropriate. Keisha was no longer comfortable with him living with her children. Keisha then told her husband, Gary, to tell him to leave. They assumed that he was envious of what he had, he desired his life, and he felt intimidated by Gary. When Gary asked him to go, he said he'd leave at the end of that month, but Everoy had other plans. Unfortunately, we don't know when they asked him to go nor when he chose to do what he did, but he was asked to leave the house. Kelsey Morrison did not arrive at school on April 19th. This was unusual for her, so the school called her mother, Keisha. She did not answer. The school then called her father. When he received the call, he decided to drive home and check because his wife was not answering her phone either. He entered the girl's room and discovered bloodied sheets that resembled a crime scene, but there were no bodies. When he looked under their bed, he found his wife and daughters wrapped in sheets, as well as a bloodied axe. The distraught father discovered what seemed to be a murder weapon in the bedroom, a bloodied axe wedged between two mattresses. On the floor, it appears that someone was attempting to mop up blood that was floating around. Before the cops arrived, the half-brother fled in the wife's brand-new BMW, which she had only purchased a week before. When the police arrived, they discovered the remains of Keisha and Kelsey, who had been murdered while they were sleeping. Everoy was caught for theft when police tracked him down in Maryland.
Kelsey Morrison's uncle is now in custody in Maryland. He was arrested for driving a car stolen from the family's home here in Roselle, and he is now a person of interest in the murders of Kelsey and Keisha Morrison. Just 3 days before her 10th birthday, Roselle police are investigating the murder of Kelsey Morrison and her mom, Keisha.
We demand justice for Keisha, Baker, Morrison, and Kelsey Morrison. We will not sleep until we get justice.
It started with a phone call from Kelsey's school saying she didn't show up for class Wednesday. Gary Morrison came home and found blood in his daughter's bedroom.
Kelsey's room was wide open and they saw blood on her bed. And they thought maybe something else, but then they saw the walls and it looked like splats on the wall.
Gary Morrison's half-brother, 44-year-old Everoy Morrison, is now in custody as a person of interest, nabbed near I-695 in Baltimore County, Maryland, for driving a stolen BMW. Gary's sister, Atasha, says her brother allowed Everoy to live in his basement for the last 3 years.
Very attentive, very loving, spoiled. My brother has a big heart. Sometimes his heart is just too big.
Neighbors describe the Morrisons as a loving family.
They were a beautiful family, amazing family. This is devastating for the community, devastating for the family, right, the husband.
But Atasha says there was tension because Keisha wanted Everoy to move out.
They just weren't comfortable with him being there anymore.
Maryland State Police are now working with Roselle Police to assist the Union County Prosecutor's Office, which is leading this investigation.
Kelsey's birthday was coming up in 3 days, and the family was excited to celebrate. They also intended to visit Disneyland. Keisha's birthday had just passed on the 6th, and they had gone out to have fun, and he was envious of all of that. Morrison is currently being held in a Baltimore County correctional facility. The family was known as the cheerful family who loved having fun and spending time together. Nevertheless, they had no idea that accepting and assisting a family member would result in a horrible ending. We hope that the Morrison family will take solace in having faith that justice will be done. We pray for Keisha and Kelsey's souls to rest in peace. If you would like to stay updated with this type of content, please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the following video.